Hey creators, welcome to the first full episode of the podcast. I'm so excited to finally share the heart behind my creativity, why I make art, why I write, and how it shaped me. Whether you've been creating for forever or you just started your creative journey, I hope my story helps you feel seen, inspired, or just a little more connected to your own spark. Now, hello everyone, again, my name is Natalia, and this is the first full episode to Brushstrokes and Bookmarks. I forgot the name of my own podcast there for a second. Anyways, but two things before we start. If I keep looking over at the screen, at this side, it's because I have my notes here. And two, if I mess up, I'm trying to not make any more cuts in the video, or like any more redos of the video. But yeah, because I film all of these in like real time. The only time I'll really do anything is if like I mess up really bad or get into it. Anyways, so where did it all start? I've been creating, and like I like the broad term of creating because creating is almost like an umbrella term. Because yes, you create art, but while you're writing a story, you're also creating a story. So I like the wide umbrella term of creating. But when did I first start making art? So if you watched the introductory video, that was posted yesterday, I believe. I think it was today on Spotify and yesterday on YouTube. Anyways, but so if you watch that, you'll know, I mentioned in there that I've been creating ever since I was young. My hands are making weird shadow puppets. Anyways, making art ever since I was young. But I actually felt, actually I'll explain this more in the next section. But no, my first memories are probably just making, like, little doodles and creating stuff and creating stick figures with the suns in the corner. So much fun. And then writing stories. I've written stories ever since I was little. I love to read, so it naturally turned into writing. And I came up with the idea of many a book. I never finished them. I still have little covers and little books. In future episodes, I might try and pull some of those out and just show you guys. Because I have a little book that's like probably this big. I had kind of a story behind it. It was going to be Anna Pavlova. She was a famous Russian ballet dancer. It was her granddaughter or great-granddaughter or something like that. I created the little cover and everything, but I never got around to writing it, sadly. And so from childhood I've been doing all this stuff. Definitely my two biggest influences were from my parents, because for at least writing stories, because they were the ones who taught me how to read, who gave me my love of reading. I got it all from them. So because they've been reading to me ever since I was a baby, I started reading early chapter books in kindergarten. So definitely reading came from them, and writing just, I think, picked up with that. It was fun creating stories of my own when I read stories all the time. And then, books I used to love. Let me think. Little House on the Prairie. That series I was obsessed with when I was younger. Harry Potter is also a big thing. I would say Percy Jackson, but Percy Jackson is a little more recent. Harry Potter, I was probably 9 or 10 years old when I first started reading that. I actually have a funny story about that. So Harry Potter, my mom wanted to read it with me and my little brother. And so she started reading that with us. And then after a while we got impatient with how it was going, and so I think I broke off first and started reading ahead, but then my brother did, and he got done with the, I think, second book it was on, like, faster than me. And we had started watching the Harry Potter movies at this point, but I'll always love the books better than the movies. Anyways, but even though I love the actors so much, actors and actresses. Anyways, but so, and then it became a competition between me and my brother to see who would finish the series first. And I don't remember who won that one, but I do remember in the Percy Jackson one we did the same thing, but he was also, so he got ahead of me because I had access to, I think, the first 3 books, like, in the hard copy. Now I have all 5 of them. I need to get the new ones, but that's just the point. So he had access, or he got them on, some of them online, and started reading them online. Well, one day I was feeling sick, so I was laying down in bed. I decided to play it up a little more than I actually really, I was sick, like, I wasn't feeling well, but I decided to play it up anymore. Well, I grabbed the tablet and I just started reading. I read a good 3 books in that whole day, and I finished the series before him. I was so happy with myself. But yeah, no, creativity has always been, like, my form of, like, expression. I find it very hard to talk to people. Okay, see. There's a difference between talking and, like, talking. I can talk with people. I've been shy, but, like, I can also talk with people. I will be one of the first to speak up in class if I know the answer. Love talking to like that, but actually emotionally talking, I don't do that very often. It's very hard for me to do because I don't want to put my hurt onto someone else. So creativity has always been my form of expression and my form of comfort, because as I got to express myself, it comforted me. So this book that I wrote, it's a collection of 80 original poems, was very healing for me because I was able to express myself and in turn let out my feelings, which ended up comforting me. But creativity is not only as a form of expression, it's a form of me to have fun, let my creative juices flow out. That's all, my open brain, let it flow out and let me have fun with this. So obviously you know where it started, but when did it become something more? When did it, like, become more than just hobbies? Because like I said, I wrote a whole book. I'm hoping to enter an art contest and possibly sell my first piece of art soon. So when did that happen? It was, for writing, it was definitely last summer. So like I said, that book is 80 original poems. Poems have been a touchy subject for me. I used to hate writing poems. I hated them with an absolute passion. Like, I was like, you can stay there. I'll stay here, you can stay over there. Like, far away from me. More than the 6 feet rule. Go, 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 go. 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, stay away from me forever. But back in about 21, 22, might have been a little later than that actually, I get really bad test anxiety. I ended up writing a couple poems. It helped a lot. Then I had to write a couple poems for my English class. Those are actually good. They are included in the book. And I was like, oh my god, I love writing these poems, but I didn't really do much with it. Then last summer, like I said, I poured a lot of my grief and feelings into that book. Last summer comes around, feeling a lot of stuff on my chest, just with everything, old emotions were brought up, and writing that was my way of doing it. And now it's a lot of how I write, actually. I'm more than likely to sit down and write a poem than go and sit down and write, like, an actual story. But in art, like I said, I've been making art since I was young. I fell out of love with art back around, like, 21, 22. It got really hard for me to do it because it reminded me of happier times. Well, this college semester comes around and I'm taking humanities for and my teacher, she's amazing. I had to make her a gift and everything. I gifted her one of my small paintings because this woman is one of the most amazing teachers I've ever met. I'm gonna freaking cry now. She was always there, like she made her classes engaging, and after class, I started this sometime into the semester, quite a bit of time into the semester, and and I came up to her one day and I said, "Hey, oh, I noticed this stuff about what we talked about in class today," and then every week after that, I did that with her, and she always she always had the brightest smile on her face when we were talking about this, and she was like, "Oh my god," and we were bouncing ideas off each other. This woman was amazing. She helped bring back my love for art, and so I've been just creating ever since, and it's really sparked me into something that I want to sell my art. I want to create art for people to enjoy. So yeah, it's more than just a hobby at this point. It's not something I'll ever fully do for a living. Possibly a side job, but it's something that just transformed my life. And like I said about the book, it just helped. And the book was a big turning point for me because it helped me process my emotions. I was able to write out my pent up grief, pent up anger, and everything into that book. I know I'm getting worked up and emotional over here. But it also helped me understand what I was going through, because a lot of the time my book, it was I wasn't even really realizing what I was truly writing until after I finished each poem and went back and read it. It was like my brain was on autopilot, just writing down what I felt, and then I'd go back and read it, and I was like, oh my god, this makes so much sense. This is what's happening. And it helped me process the stuff. It helped me understand myself. And a lot of them honestly made me feel empowered, because it was like one of my favorites. It's called To My Little 5-Year-Old Self. And it talks about all the accomplishments I made, telling my little, like I said, my little 5-year-old self, all the accomplishments I made. And it just made me feel so empowered, because I was like, oh my gosh, look at how much I've done. I've come such a long way, And definitely, that book was something I was so proud of, but so afraid to share too, because it has so much in there that is harsh to read. And it was just like, do I want to share this? Do I not? And I'm very glad I ended up sharing it. So many people were like, this is so good. You have a talent for this. Definitely some of the projects I'm most proud of is my door frame. I painted my whole door frame. I'm working on my closet door frame now. And a massive painting I'm working on too. I will show those in a later video. But yeah. So what is creativity look like right now for me? So writing is a kind of challenge. Again, back to the book. The book will be referenced a lot because it's a big thing in my life. It was 80 poems, like I said. The last 16 as I was writing them, I was starting to struggle to write them. Not because they were rough. They were probably, I'm looking at my table of contents. I made a cute little table of contents. But the last 16 were, I don't know, they were some of the happiest and some of the worst in the thing. Yet they were some of the hardest for me to write because I was starting to get writer burnout. I wrote this whole thing in 4 months. It then took me an additional about 2 months to write it all up on the computer because those are handwritten. But I started to get writer burnout, and I stopped writing for a little while. I continued to like obviously like write little things, but I stopped writing poems, everything. Then recently, I've started to write again, but it's on, my terms only. And obviously the book was on my terms. It was just everything that I felt. And then after a while, I had those 16 poems left. I said, oh, I need to finish this. Well, that caused me to experience writer burnout. And now I write on my terms and my terms only. So when I get inspiration for a poem, I write it. So like in my Google Drive right now, I do have a couple poems in there that have titles, but they're not written, and I don't feel any pressure writing them because I know they're gonna get done eventually, but it doesn't really matter when to me right now. It just matters when I get the inspiration for it. So and then I make art consistently. I'm currently, like I said, I'm hoping to enter a contest that's due actually in 5 days. So I need to get a start on that. But yeah, no, that's, yeah. Oh, sorry. But, and then I have this massive canvas I'm doing. I have the closet door frame and all that. Like, there's a ton of stuff I'm always consistently doing. But, again, artist burnout, artist block happens to me. I'm not immune to that. So, sometimes it works. So, like, that closet door frame, there was some stuff that happened last week. I wasn't able to consistently be on it. And right now, I've taken a break from it. It's still there. I still want to do it. I still have the motivation to do it. It's just not, I'm just not working on it right now because I need a break from it. It's kind of irking me that I haven't finished it yet. But I'm also like, I don't have the time for this right now, and I need to put my full energy into this when I do it. So, yeah. But, obviously a lot of space, like, I have so many spaces around my room that, like, to, like, have it. So, right here, so I'm filming on my bed right now, but right under where the camera is, that I actually have, like, a small space. Right now, I have a whole bunch of thread there because, I was sewing something for one of my friends. But that's where you're gonna find a lot of my sewing stuff because I sew at night on my bed. You're also gonna find my poem books and stuff like that. That's where you're gonna find that. And then my other art, I have a desk, mind you. I don't use this desk. This desk is a mess. I have 2 spaces to store my art. One is a little more, and that's where I keep a lot of my storage stuff, so like boxes and stuff, or my massive canvas. That's where I'm gonna keep that. It's really just stuff that I don't need as much. While right here next to my bed on that side, I'm gonna keep stuff that I use a little more often. So like my paints, my paintbrushes, tape, anything like that is gonna be in that corner right there. And then I also have a cabinet where I keep all my other sewing stuff that I'm not currently using. And then out in our Florida room, I also have, there's a table in there that I use to create a lot of my art on and stuff like that. But like I said, I sound, I don't know if I sound like this or not, because I said I do art consistently. Because I'm not immune to artist block, artist burnout, and I think the biggest thing I deal with is perfectionism. It stops me a lot of times, because I'm like, and then self-doubt comes into play here because perfectionism be like, oh, you need to make this perfect, and the self-doubt creeps in and says, I don't know if you can make this perfect, so we're not gonna do that right now. But those are the two, I think, biggest things I struggle with right now. It's like, I want everything to be perfect, so that big canvas I'm working on, I've been working on it for 2 months, actually going on 3 now. The colors aren't blended out like I want to. Yeah, that's why I haven't finished that yet. The colors aren't blended out perfectly. I keep going over and over and over it again, but the colors aren't blended out perfectly, or they're not like, I have to redo the sunset, I have to recolor paint and stuff, and it's hard for me to recolor paint because I don't have a way to store paint, like paints that I mix custom. So it was if I didn't mix enough, then I have to try and figure out how to make that shade over again. And it was like because it wasn't blending properly and it was clashing too much with the sea because it's like a sunset over an ocean. I was like, this is like, I have a love and hate relationship with this thing. But yeah, no. And like I said, creative block, writer's block I struggle with, artist block I struggle with. Burnout, like I said, I've experienced writer burnout. Artist burnout, it wasn't artist burnout why I stopped doing art. It was just I had no interest for art anymore. But artist burnout I haven't actually really experienced. The biggest thing is artist block. I just don't have ideas, but it's not because I'm burned out or anything. But even though I struggle with stuff, it's obvious I love my stuff. I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm like talking about this. I'm sorry if I'm talking a little fast. But anyways, I love so much about, especially the final result. I love it, but the process to get there is my favorite because like I get to see where like how much I like progress with each time. And so I don't know if you ever heard the saying, turn the painting upside down, go to sleep, and then the next morning come back and finish it. Well, I've never turned a painting upside down before. I don't need to do that, but sometimes I got really frustrated with the painting. But then the next morning I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, look at how much I've done. This is so cool to see, like, the process and everything. And then the finished result's just absolutely my favorite. It's like, I've done this. I created this. It's crazy to even think about. That, like, and that's honestly what keeps me going. So, seeing my joy, seeing my stuff done is what keeps me going. And, you know, I do it for me, especially mentally, emotionally. I do it a lot for me, but I don't only do it for me. I do it for others too. I love seeing others' joy, or, you know, people's joy seeing my stuff, or just being there for someone who's struggling with their own issues. I love doing that, and I want to bring my creativity to others, to bring that joy to them, to bring that inspiration to them. And, you know, going through the journey of falling in love with art, or like falling out of love with art, falling in love with art, learning how to write again, you know, all that, I've learned that it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you're gonna eventually come back. And the finished result is always amazing. No matter how much you hate it, someone out there is going to love it. So that all brings me back to the podcast, because now you know about me, but how does that even correlate with the podcast? How does that correlate with Brushstrokes and Bookmarks? Well, that's why I created this podcast. It was to connect with all of you, to bring inspiration, to bring joy, to just, like, just bring happiness to everyone. I think that's my ultimate goal in life. But no, this podcast means so much to me because I have a community. Because, like I said, writing this whole video was a whole thing of how much I love writing and art and how much I love being a creator. And it's like this, and obviously that's one of my favorite things to do. And so this podcast means so much to me for that reason, because I'm creating it for all the creators out there, for them to know that they're not alone, for, so even if they're struggling, I'm here, I'm willing to talk. There's other people out there just like you who are willing to talk there. And I want to be able to support anyone who's willing to enjoy themselves and have fun with this, whether, and I want to be able to connect people, because as there's so many different types of creation out there. Content creation, which is what I'm doing now, which is what you're even listening to. Art creation, that's a weird word. Art, writing, reading, baking, all kinds of stuff. That is all creation. That is all creative mediums. And pottery, you don't ever truly think about how many creative mediums there are until you start meeting people who have those different creative mediums than you. You might do 3 creative mediums, but you might find someone else who does a different creative medium that you never even thought of, you never even heard of, or you might have heard of it, but you never truly realize what goes into that process to make that creative medium. So I just wanted to create a space to support and connect people from all around the world, all around the country. And because your story matters too. It's not only my story. It's not only if I have guests on this podcast, not their story either, not just their story either. Your story matters too. And that's what I want to bring to light. So, as always, the Discord server is down in the description. You can also give me a listen on Spotify if you're not listening to me on there already. Also on YouTube. On YouTube Music, Spotify. I think that's it. But yeah, my YouTube handle is Storyverse Vlogs. But yeah. What's that? Oh, I also have my Wattpad and AO3. That's all linked in my YouTube bio. So if you go check the podcast out on YouTube, or you're listening on YouTube, if you want to connect with me on more socials or anything like that, email me or anything, that'll all be in my YouTube bio. So anyways, thanks for spending time with me today. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your story too. Join the Discord server, email me, or leave a comment wherever you're listening. Let's build this creative space together. Until next time, keep creating from the heart. I love you all. Bye!